What's up, guys? 4 people. Please hit the like button. Unknown Trader, what's going on? Captain Spock, a new movie is out about the Slovenian prostitute who went on to become First Lady of the USA. It's called Melania. I wonder if they will include the Epstein Island part. You know they won't. You know they won't. Just another bribe to Donald Trump from fucking Jeff Bezos. Bullshit. So funny, man. You hear these MAGA people, they'll forever talk about how did Barack Obama get so rich, even though, the slightest bit of research will tell you exactly that. I mean, speaking engagements, books, shit like that. But they'll never ask, how did Donald Trump double his net worth in a year? Because they don't really care, It's not about corruption. Corruption doesn't bother them. It's just anything they can say about a Democrat, even if it's bullshit. If they can call it corruption, they will. Okay, here we go. Gotta do it. I still support Trump, but I am maybe dwindling. Oh, is that right? Well, or but it maybe, I don't know. You fucked that up at the end there, but I know what you mean. That's I wouldn't be surprised. A lot of people, they're changing their minds. Captain Spock, $5, 5 for the cause. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate that. I do. FJB has all the files Epstein. What? Fuck, Bathy, what are you, fucking high today? Usually you can read and write it. It seems like anyway in the chat, but FJ Biden, period, has all the Epstein files written like a true MAGA maniac and half capitals, half lowercase and shit. It's completely incoherent, rambling nonsense. Yeah, you're still a Trump supporter. No doubt about that. I think when people stop supporting Trump, they get better with English and stuff, reading and writing, and they become more literate, it seems. But until then, nope. Yeah, I see a lot of things that maybe I didn't see before, but again, I vote party, so it's that or not vote. Well, in that case, I would just not vote if I was you. You know what I mean? Because first of all, I understand, that's the way you are. I personally, I would vote for a Republican under certain circumstances. It would have to be one hell of a guy for me to do it. It would take a lot. I don't just necessarily vote along party lines, but if I did and I thought the Democrat was a complete piece of shit, the nominee, I would just not vote. More Americans believe Trump M-worded children than voted for him in all 3 elections. I believe it. Next to classic Corvette in garage. Look, next to classic Corvette, all capitals, period, in garage, period, legit. Bathy, sometimes I think you're trolling me. But the files, it's a bad thing to bring up for you because you're talking about the classified documents Joe Biden had in his garage, supposedly, and he gave them back. When they asked for them back, he just gave them back. Trump had them in his bathroom in Mar-a-Lago. He had them all over the place. It's funny how you never bring that up. And he refused to give them back, so they had to raid him. I mean, how do you think ICE is doing? Please. I won't ever vote for a so-called conservative. Yeah, I probably wouldn't either, but I'm saying, if things got crazy enough on the left and I thought there was somebody decent on the right, I might. But again, the whole party, their whole platform is despicable. So I probably couldn't. It would just depend. You don't have to watch me, right, Jim Bob Jones? You could just turn the fucking channel, right, stupid? Scamala Tampon Timmy. So fucking childish. Oh my God, they're like kids. Scamala. Great job. Could you name a scam that Kamala was involved in? I'd like for you to name just one. Thank you. And you guys, let me ask you something. The only, whatever the fuck your name is, are you ever Oh, the only constant is change. Is that your name? Are you ever, by any chance, going to actually look into that claim about the tampon Tim thing, or are you just going to keep repeating it like the mindless dolt that you are? Because there's absolutely no truth behind that, right? The tampon Tim thing. It's just something people made up to call him based on some shit that never even happened. Imagine how bad the files must be for Trump when they released 1%, and the stuff in that 1% alone was damning to Trump. The files are obviously the end of Trump if they are released. 100%, Captain Spot. Yeah, and you're right. Even that little bit was bad for him. Hey, Chris, did you see Keith Edwards created a GoFundMe for Alex Preddy's family for $20K to help with the funeral and raised over $1 million in one day? No, but I'm glad they did, and I'll certainly contribute to it. Let me see. Well, they just announced grand jury into Russiagate. Dave Smith, you take that seriously? You mean the Trump Department of Justice? You mean like how he insisted that James Comey and Letitia James get indicted and that shit was thrown right the fuck out? Because they didn't even do that right. You think it's going to matter? The Russia Gate thing, they should probably just leave alone because, well, it doesn't matter. It's his DOJ. They're not a legit Department of Justice. They're not like any other Department of Justice where they do things independently. Trump tells them what to do and they do it. And he's still butthurt about things that happened 10 fucking years ago. So he wants investigations into things. Meanwhile, we saw him say, Russia, if you're listening, please get me the 30,000 emails. You'll be rewarded greatly. That alone by itself is Russia collusion. Just that alone. Just that. Yeah, Dave. Tell me how, Dave. Tell me what. I'll tell you what, Dave. Could you tell me one good thing about Donald Trump as a person? Anything, Dave. You're a liar and a pathetic. I'm a pathetic. Is that right? Money will never bring a pretty dumbass. Oh my god. Wow. If he really worked at the VA, he had great insurance. Guys, you just that dude just blocked them if they pull that shit. It's just despicable. They're despicable people. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, if we talk about Charlie Kirk and how he got exactly what he fucking deserved, they'll throw a fucking fit. You know what I mean? They'll throw a fucking fit. They'll lose their shit. Maybe you guys come right back at them with that. Trigger them. You ain't got no fucking money. You lose it. I lose it? Where does it go? Where does it go? How can someone still be dumb enough to support Trump now that he is refusing to release the Epstein files and protecting predators? Because they don't stand for anything. They don't care. They're there to protect Trump. It doesn't matter what he does wrong or doesn't do wrong, or doesn't matter. It's just he's their guy, and they're all in. What gave it away, Private 8767? If it was true, using common sense, the Dems would have used it to stop him from being elected. Where's your critical thinking, Cap? Oh my God, Private. You're going to talk about critical thinking? I am a critical thinker. That's why I know what you're saying is so fucking stupid. Not only that, but I research. You know what I'm saying? You act as if this is what you act like, Private. In your mind, this is what must have happened. So Trump didn't release the files. I just want to remind you that in his first term, he didn't release them. You never ask, why didn't Trump release them in his first term? You jump straight to Biden. I even had a guy yesterday say, how come Obama or Biden didn't release them, yet Trump was president between those two? He didn't release them, but the guy didn't even mention that. So it's not about the files being released. It's about how can I make this look bad for Obama or Biden? So this is what critical thinking will tell you. That just because the Department of Justice had it, and you need to understand, up until this term of Trump's here, even in his first term, they were pretty much, they did what he said. But in presidential history, the Department of Justice was an independent agency. It was not part of the White House. It was not, it was not run by the president necessarily. You know what I'm saying? Okay. The president didn't just do things like put out Truth Social posts and say, hey, indict my enemies, and boom, they're indicted. Trump calls the shots. He tells the DOJ what to do every step of the way. Okay. It's never been like that before. So what you think is that at the Department of Justice, the files were there, and that every now and then Democrats just walked over to the Department of Justice and just flipped through the files, read them, brought them home with them, stuff like that. You have no proof whatsoever that any Democrat even knew anything about the files as far as like if Trump was in them or not. Nothing. You have no proof. It's just you saying it. It's just you saying it. But no matter how many times I explain this, it doesn't matter. Also, the fact that, it wasn't legal to release them under Biden. Ghislaine Maxwell got convicted under him, and she went right into appeal. She was in a appeal. Her case was on appeal until February of 2025 when Trump was in office. That's why all of a sudden it became such a big deal to release them. Okay, it wasn't because Trump was in office. It was because now they could release them. Ghislaine Maxwell's appeals were exhausted. There was no more investigations. They said they didn't plan on prosecuting anyone else. So that was it. Okay. But what you don't say to yourself is, and this is why you're not a critical thinker, is Trump has been telling you for years that the Democrats are in them. For years. And he had them before Biden. And there was an election. I don't know if you remember it. It was in 2020. It's the one you guys still deny that Trump lost. How come Trump didn't use the files to stop Biden from winning? Because even if it wasn't Biden in the files, imagine how he could have gone after the Democrats. But he didn't. I wonder why. Stupid fucks. Sabrina Merrick, $2. MAGA uses the same argument 24/7. They are dumb as a box of rocks. They truly are. Bill and Hillary were on Epstein's island with Michael Jackson. Again, Black Death, it's just you saying it. There's no proof whatsoever. You have no proof. Nobody does. If they were on the island and I knew it, I would say so. And there's no proof that they were. Yes, they are. Then why won't Trump release them, technician? Are you really that dumb? That's another thing. Yeah. I mean, you guys want to keep going back to Biden and Obama, but you don't want to ask, wait a minute, Trump is the president now. It is a fact. It is a well-known fact. The only thing stopping the files from coming out is Trump. Trump just has to say, Pam, release the files, and they get released, but he won't. We had to go through the whole discharge petition and the vote on the House floor and then in the Senate, have Trump sign it, pass a law called the Epstein Files Transparency Act, because Trump wouldn't just release them without all that. And now, even after they passed the law, he still won't release them. What a surprise. He's breaking the law again. Technician, I don't know. It depends, because the big bust with Ghislaine Maxwell and stuff was long after Obama was out of office. So what files exactly did you want Obama to release? And again, I want to remind you guys of something. It was never an issue. It wasn't even discussed during Obama's term, not even by you motherfuckers. And Obama did not run on releasing the files, and neither did Biden, but Trump did. He ran on releasing the files. He told you guys, the dummies that voted for him, that that's what he's going to do. And he lied to you. See, this is what I mean, Brenda Kittle. Epstein is old news. Get over it. Now, Brenda, you are a cunt. I'll tell you why. Because you most likely are a pedo, know a pedo, or okay with pedos. Because for anybody to say the largest pedo ring in American history, in which many of the offenders are probably still alive and walking the streets and living in mansions, the richest, most powerful people in the country, if not the world, still get to be free every day after 1,000 young girls were raped and sexually assaulted. If you could say that's old news and just write it off, you're a piece of shit, and I hope you die. Honestly, that's how I feel about you, Brenda, because I can't imagine a bigger tragedy than what took place. And if you thought it was the Democrats, you would be whining and bitching and moaning every single fucking day of your life to see those files. It's that Trump is in them, and you know it now, that now you're like, it's old news. And that's what Trump did to you guys. And you just repeat him like mindless robots. Like, Trump ran on promising he was going to release the Epstein files for you guys. And then he just came out and said, are you still talking about the Epstein files? Oh my God, get over it. Like, That's what he did to you guys, not us. We knew he'd never release the files. You actually believed he would. I've been saying on this very channel, Trump was in the Epstein files for fucking years, for years. Robert Newbound. No, I make more than her. I make more than her. Classic liberal Democratic Party spent 4 years blaming Trump from 2020 to 2024 for everything under the blue sky, but Republicans mention Biden or Obama in 2026, and you rage out. No. We're talking in the context of the Epstein files, dopey. In the context of the Epstein files, to go back in time and talk about Biden or Obama when Trump is the guy who could release them this very minute and refuses to, and you guys don't mention him. You don't understand how insane that is to say, how come guys that were in office years ago didn't release the files without mentioning that the guy that's currently in office is not only not releasing them, but going above and beyond to block the release of them? It just goes to show how disingenuous you guys are. You're not looking for an answer. You just want to be able to say shit about Obama and Biden. That's it. This is another stupid argument I've heard, and he released more than anybody. They couldn't be released, so that's not a flex. They couldn't be released. So what was anybody else supposed to release? Just out of curiosity. That's number one. And number two, 12,500 pages out of 2 million, and 75% of those 12,000 pages was redacted. So yeah, just ignore that. No, but believe me, it ain't the left. It ain't the left. I can read you a list of fucking Republican pedophiles, people that have been busted as pedos from the Republican Party. Not nearly as many on the left. There you go. There you go. Same argument, even though I'm explaining it while they're watching. I explain it, and then they say the same thing. They are truly, guys, they are incapable of learning. They are the dumbest people. This is why they could be conned by the world's most famous con man, and somehow still not know, even though it's the thing he's known for. Donald Trump is world famous for being a con man, and they still don't believe he's a con man. This is the level of intelligence they're working at. You don't have a clue why Trump's name is in the files if it is. Everybody has a clue why. What do you mean? He was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein for 10 years. Jeffrey Epstein said it himself. There's an audio recording of it. You could find it on YouTube. He's in multiple pictures and videos with Jeffrey Epstein. He had an event at his house with a bunch of beauty pageant contestants. And the only person he invited as a guest was Jeffrey Epstein. He met Melania through Jeffrey Epstein. The first time he had sex with Melania was on Jeffrey Epstein's jet. He was accused of raping a 13-year-old girl with Jeffrey Epstein. Those are just some of the reasons he's in the files. So, not to mention 30,000 emails were released between Jeffrey Epstein and like Ghislaine Maxwell and Michael Wolff, and his name appeared in them. Trump's name appeared in them more than anyone, 1,686 times. And one of the emails said Trump knew all about the girls. Another email said he's the dog that didn't bark yet. Another email said he was at home with one of the victims, or I'm sorry, at my home with one of the victims for hours alone. So look at this, dude. Shut the hell up. The Linden office had it for 4 years and did nothing with it. But as soon as Trump got in, now all of a sudden y'all care about them. The Linden office, great job. I'll say it again. Ghislaine Maxwell's case was under appeal until February 2025. So as soon as it was possible to release the files, yeah, that's when it became a big deal. You know what I'm saying? That's when it became a big deal. That's when everybody was like, okay, now let's see them. Her appeals are exhausted. We can see the files now. You understand? Oh my God, guys, I swear to God. It is truly. If it wasn't for Prozac, I wouldn't be able to do this every day, because dealing with these people is like, if I had hair, I'd tear it out. I mean, these are truly the dumbest people in the history of America. There's no question about it. You can explain something to them like they're 100 times in a row, and they'll still ask you the same question about what you just explained to them. It's amazing. During the Biden administration, January 2021 and January 2025, a total of 26 individuals died in the custody of ICE Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. Of what, Xavier? Of what? Murder? Natural causes? What? Don't forget to add that part. What did they die of, Xavier? Bobby Burber. And by the way, how's that possible since we had open borders according to you guys under Biden? Why would ICE even be in use? That they just allowed anybody in and they were allowed to stay here, right? According to you guys. So now what did they die from, Xavier? Bobby Berberian, 499. I support Donald Trump because he's the least racist person. I love you, Bobby. Bobby's, of course, trolling. He's one of my longtime supporters. He's the man. Yeah. And what did they die from? What did they die from, Xavier? Were they shot in the head after they were disarmed? Were they shot in the face when they were just trying to drive away? Or was it other things? Guys, this is how disingenuous you are. I want you to tell me now, what did they all die from? Go ahead. I'll wait. I'm at the bottom of the chat. I can't miss it. Mostly lack of medical care. You sure about that, Adam? And if that's the truth, so then that's the worst case scenario, is they didn't get the medical care they needed because they were probably so overwhelmed with all the people that were being deported. Because Obama deported more people than Trump is deporting now. So is that it? Or what? What else? Go ahead. I'm waiting. What subject did I dodge? Well, Christopher Babcock, according to this guy's explanation, no, because there was people in ICE custody under Obama or under Biden. So how's that possible if he opened the borders and just let everybody in? No, Christopher, I know you've been told this talking point over and over again, but we haven't had open borders in this country for well over 100 years. No such thing. As Dickhead just announced in the chat, people were in ICE custody under Biden. Does that not tell you that the borders weren't open? Because if they were open and anybody was allowed here, they would not have been using ICE in any way, shape, or form. And nobody during that 4 years would have been in ICE custody. Do you understand that? Okay. So no, they didn't. You guys act like Kamala and Joe Biden went to a giant gate at the border and opened it up and said, come on in, guys. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And then when we ask you, why would they do that? You say, oh, because he wants them to vote for Democrats, even though illegals can't vote. And what do you mean? He changed or dodged what subject? I haven't changed or dodged anything. You're saying that these people died in custody of ICE. I'm saying of what? Because what you're doing is it's just a bullshit thing. It's like people are getting shot and killed. Unarmed people who are doing nothing wrong are getting shot and killed by ICE under Trump. So you're going to bring up deaths where a lot of them were probably natural causes and say it's the same because they also died in ICE custody when it's not the same. There's a difference of dying of cancer or AIDS or lack of medical care or heart attacks, natural causes, than getting shot in the face. There's a huge difference. Do you understand that? Or are those things the same? Is death just death? Look at you guys. So again, you can't defend Trump. So you just bring up, and this is what, guys, what you're seeing here, this is what, if you think this guy, Michael, just came up with this, I guarantee you he heard this on Fox News today, because this is what they do. When Trump does something that's, that can't be defended, Fox News just comes out and tells people about a whole bunch of shit Democrats have done in the past. This way they totally skirt the subject of what Trump did, The guy wasn't armed with a gun. It was taken out of his hand before he got shot. And the woman, as far as being armed with a car, she was driving away from him. The cop was not in front of the car when he shot her. She was driving away from him. So it's not self-defense, not in any way, shape, or form. Now, go ahead and take you go out on the street today, okay? Get into an altercation with somebody, take their gun from them and toss it across the street, and then shoot them in the head and see if you get self-defense for that or if you go to jail for murder. Saving Farris, you can call into this show right now and we could debate. You know that, right? Fox News is Fear Network. Of course it is. You are so wrong. You are brainwashing. You are full of it. I'm brainwashing. Is that right? Why are Trump supporters so stupid? Is it prolific inbreeding? Yeah, listen, I blame Republican politicians and the voters that keep voting for them because they live in the stupidest states, literally the least educated, poorest states in the country, and they have for a long time, and they keep voting Republican. And that's why they live. They want to brag about low taxes in these red states, but that's why your education is shit. That's why you're last in healthcare. That's why you have the highest fucking poverty rates. Maybe if they actually made you pay taxes, you'd have shit like good schools, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Good health care. So it's so fucking funny because they're the dumbest people in the country, as a matter of fact, and not my opinion. And they still have been made to believe that they know shit about politics. Guys, please hit the like button and subscribe. It's very, very important. Not the bad guys. I don't want anything from the bad guys, just the good guys. Well, Doug Wiltis, unfortunately for you, or Willits, whatever your name is, I've been on this channel 4.5 years. There's people in this chat right now with wrenches who have been watching me for 4.5 years. They know everything about my life. My life. I live in a nice home with my beautiful wife. We have everything we want in life, and it's pretty good. And my mom, I took care of for the last 7 years before she passed recently. So, yeah, wrong. That's why our states aren't bankrupt. Michael Wainwright, are you talking as a MAGA person? Let me see your other comments. Because your states, the only reason they're not bankrupt is because of blue states, right? Yeah. You're one of them. So you know that, right? That the only reason your states aren't bankrupt is because blue states support them. You bunch of liberal fucks, why do we have laws if we don't enforce them? Well, let me ask you, Michael. So Donald Trump pardoned the former president of Honduras, who trafficked 400 tons of cocaine into the U.S. He went on trial in 2024 and got sentenced to 45 years. Donald Trump pardoned him. Why would he do that? CZ, the CEO of Binance, a crypto platform where he was laundering money for terrorists and drug lords and pedos, and pleaded guilty to his crimes. He wasn't railroaded. He admitted guilt. Trump pardoned him after he got Trump a $2 billion investment in Trump's company. So you sure you want to talk about the laws? How about the fact, Michael Wainwright, that Donald Trump is the first convicted felon ever to reside in the White House? How about that? How about the fact that he was found civilly liable for sexual assault? How about the fact that he fucking the same shit you guys talk about, the same shit you're saying with this ICE thing with Alex Preddy? The way he had a gun on him, which you guys are supposed to be Second Amendment people. You're so full of shit because even the NRA is up in arms over this, so to speak. They're saying, what the fuck? This guy had every fucking right to have a gun on him. It's his Second Amendment right. He had a permit and everything. Never pulled the gun, was never a threat to anybody. But you guys are like, you shouldn't have had a fucking gun. Meanwhile, you claim to be Second Amendment people. So this same shit that happened, Trump pardoned 1,600 people who assaulted 140 police officers on January 6th. All guilty. Okay. Cops died and everything. You guys didn't give a shit about that. You celebrated them being pardoned. Okay. And You're not bothered by any of that. When you see videos, and I could pull up videos of January 6th rioters beating police and not getting shot. You love it. You love it. Ashley Babbitt got killed, and you bitches whined like fucking babies. You still are years later. But this guy, Alex, he practiced his Second Amendment right. He was out in public with a gun on him, that he a legally purchased gun that he had a permit for and a license to carry, and he was killed for no reason. And you guys are like, yeah, he fucking deserved it. That's why, guys, let me tell you something about yourselves. And this is why I do spend a lot of each show insulting you. You guys literally stand for absolutely nothing. Nobody takes you seriously. Nobody takes you seriously. Nobody in the United States, nobody in the world. Donald Trump doesn't even take you seriously. He knows how stupid you are, and he uses it to his advantage. But you guys still pretend you're smart. It's funny as fuck. Not one cop died on January 6th. Yes, they did. Several cops died. I don't know if it was on the day of January 6th. It was because of January 6th. And yeah, I'm pretty sure one cop died of a heart attack that day, at least one. So that's bullshit. You're okay with Ashley Babbitt, unarmed woman being shot, but not one that wants to run over an ICE agent. You're an idiot. An agent? You mean agent? No, she didn't want to run over. She was on camera saying to the ICE agent, I have no problem with you, dude. I'm not mad at you. And then they tried to rip her out of her car. So she started to drive in the opposite direction of the cops. Nobody got hurt by her in that car. Nobody was in danger of getting hurt. And she got shot in the head. Alex Preddy, another situation, they disarmed him and then proceeded to shoot him in the head. And I think 5 more times after that. Okay. So, and you're wrong about look, how many police officers died because of January 6th? According to reports from the U.S. Capitol Police, the Metropolitan Police Department, and the Department of Justice, 5 police officers who served at the Capitol on January 6, 2021, died in the days and months following the attack. Officer Brian Sicknick died on January 7th, 2021, after suffering strokes the day after being pepper sprayed by rioters. The D.C. medical examiner stated that all that transpired during the riot played a role in his condition. Officer Howard Liebengood, U.S. Capitol Police, died by suicide on January 9th, 2021. Officer Jeffrey Smith died by suicide on January 15th, 2021, after sustaining injuries during the attack. Officer Kyle DeFreytag died by suicide in July 2021. Officer Gunther Hashida, D.C. Metropolitan Police, died by suicide in July 2021. A lot of suicides. I guess they're not related to January 6th, right? The injuries they sustained and stuff. You guys only care about cops when they're going after your enemies. You know what I mean? When you're fighting against them, cops ain't shit. Look what they were doing to those police that day. They were beating them with fucking flagpoles. And you guys are fine with it. And guess what? The only one that got shot was Ashley Babbitt. And she deserved it. 100%. 100%. Everybody who is trying to rush through those fucking doors, squashing police officers and everything else, deserved to be shot. But it's funny. They didn't get killed, right? But ICE is out there killing people left and right for nothing. Steffelson, 499. What a surprise. The 2A don't tread on me crowd turned out to be a bunch of cowardly bootlicking pushovers. Yep. The jackbooted thugs that they always bitched about are finally here. And they're like, that's fine. That's great. Because it's your enemies that are being killed. You guys don't stand for anything. You don't even stand for the Second Amendment. And you showed your ass on this one. Because everybody could see it. Wow, you won't even defend a guy who's practicing his Second Amendment rights, even though Second Amendment rights are all you bitches preach about. It's literally the only thing in the Constitution you guys care about. But let's face it, it's only your Second Amendment rights. Because this guy got killed for practicing his, and you're fine with it. Yeah, absolutely. Don Trump, I've seen the actual evidence. You've seen the nice clips where Fox News shows you where it looks like people are just walking through the Capitol building. If you saw all the evidence, you would say it was an insurrection too. It absolutely was. How can you say otherwise? Do you know what an insurrection is? Donald Trump tried to overthrow the government, tried to overturn a free and fair election. He hired fake, it wasn't just a riot. He hired fake slates of electors. He threatened Mike Pence. He threatened him not to certify the vote. Luckily, Mike Pence did it anyway. But he told him he better not. He threatened him, basically. And the people were standing outside the Capitol building yelling, hang Mike Pence. They had a gallows set up because he was going to just certify the results of a free and fair, legit election. That is literally, by definition, an insurrection. There is no questioning anything else took place. Trump, forget about the fact that Trump literally went on to try to cheat every way possible. He called Raffensperger in Georgia and said, I need you to find me 11,000 fucking votes. Can you imagine if Biden would have done that? Guys, do me a favor. Hit the like. Take a second to do it, please. Hit the like and subscribe. I got a goal for how many subs I want to get today. And if you can, I haven't really been bothering people about this because, you know, I do other types of shows on here where I make some money, but I do need to make money on these shows too. So if you could send a super chat or something in to get your comment through, it would be great. Again, I'm not worried about the bad guys, but the good guys, you know, show me a little bit of support that way. I'd appreciate it. Damn, you guys are, how did I debunk myself? What do you mean? The one guy died of strokes that were partly caused by the injuries he sustained the day before on January 6th. That's a cop that was killed because of January 6th. You said not one. And the other ones committed suicide, two of them within days of January 6th. You think that's a coincidence? And then the other two also killed themselves a little later on. But yeah, you're right. None of that had to do with January 6th. Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course I did. Yeah, of course I did. I'm not like you guys. I don't just come on here and just say shit that I hear on the news and stuff. I actually research things. But it's okay. Biden opened our borders, spelled with an A, BOARDERS, for more for crime, more criminals, all for 2024 election. They lost. You're going to argue that point? Yes, Brenda Kittle. It is literally a fact, and anybody with brains knows this. And I know you don't have brains because obviously, illegal aliens cannot vote in federal elections. Joe Biden knew that. Kamala Harris knew that. It would be of no advantage to them to allow these people into the country for the 2024 election because they can't vote. And Brenda, I guarantee you that you can't go find me one credible source that there's ever been widespread voting amongst illegal aliens in any federal election in American history. That includes 2022 and 2024. I guarantee you can't go find one source because there are none. It's never happened. It's never happened. Guys, please hit the like and subscribe. Very, very important. No, they're not, Ashley Gatton. They're not. Don't tell me to look it up. Go get me the source and I'll pull it up. I'll show it to everybody. Everybody. They're not allowing them to get license and then vote. You have to be a registered voter to vote, you jackass. You know, I explain this on every show. I don't know if any of you have ever voted, but if you did, you know how it goes. You go to your local polling place, the one you're assigned to. You go in, they have a big giant book. Maybe in some states it might be a computer. In my area, it's a book. They go through it. They ask you your name. You give them your name. And if you're not registered to vote, you can't vote. It's as simple as that. How do illegal immigrants register to vote? Yeah, Doug, he's kicking our ass. The U.S. That's about it. Okay, go ahead. Cody Brown, how many and where did you find them? Go ahead. I'll wait, Cody. I'm going to call you guys out because I already know better. You can't tell me. I've researched all of this thoroughly. Go tell me, Cody, I want you to get me the credible source. Where were the votes found and how many were there? I'm waiting. No, you don't have to show ID to vote in California. And that's how it's supposed to be everywhere. And that's how it always was until Republicans started changing it so they could suppress the minority vote. That's all there is to it. It's unconstitutional to make people show ID to a vote in a federal election. They are trash. I'm not a liberal by any stretch of the imagination. Name a specific thing, I'll show the source. But see, I already learned my lesson, Jim Bob Jones. No matter what source I show you, you'll just say it's not a good source. I've literally shown you guys Fox News as a source because I know that's the only one you believe, and you still said it isn't true. So it doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is different. If you get me a credible source, any source, I will pull it up on the screen. Of course, if it's not a credible source, if it's if it's Fox News, that you got to remember, they got sued. They had to pay the largest defamation settlement in the history of the country because they lied about the election being stolen. The reason I call you guys out is because I already know the answers. You don't. There's no it's like if your teacher is teaching you something you don't know, but the teacher knows, and you say, teacher, show me your source. Show me your source that 2 + 2 = 4. I already know this shit. That's why I'm on here doing this. You guys don't know anything. So when you say thousands of illegals were caught voting in federal elections, I know for a fact that that's not true. So when I say get me a credible source, I already know you can't do it because there are no credible sources. 87 billion. Sabrina Merrick, $2. Hit like, high quality content on a daily basis. Thank you, Sabrina. You should have an ID to vote, otherwise illegals can vote. No, they can't, because again, this has been worked on for a pretty long time, elections and stuff, and illegals can't vote, period. It is against federal law. Illegals cannot vote. And you got to register to vote. You can't register as an illegal. It's not going to work. You're not going to be able to vote. And if you somehow slip through the cracks, they'll catch it and it won't matter. That's why even Trump hired a firm to find illegal voting in the 2020 election. And when they couldn't, he fired them. So who's Todd? You guys don't give one shit about it because you've been trying to take it away from us for 20 years now or more. Who's been trying to take what away from you? Your last name is Ramirez and you're a Trump supporter? Which stand for the Second Amendment, but you don't pull out your gun unless you're willing to use it? But what are you referring to? If you're talking about the guy in Minnesota, he didn't pull out his gun. I don't even know what you're talking about, Todd Ramirez. Nobody's been trying to take your Second Amendment right away from you. Fox News just convinced you that people are. As the second number amendment, right to be there with a gun lawfully, but when the gun went off, they didn't know what if he was shooting or if it was a discharge because he had a shitty gun. Let me ask you something. Whose hand was the gun in when it went off? Go ahead, Todd Ramirez. I'm asking you, whose hand was the gun in when it went off? No, it didn't. The Daily Good Guy. All of that shit was debunked. It's just stuff Fox News told you. Like the old woman who supposedly voted as her dead husband. Turned out she always used her husband's. When she would vote, she would vote as Mrs. whatever her husband's first and last name was. And she just continued doing that. But they just said she was voting as a dead person. Meanwhile, she was cleared of it because it's the way she always voted. And it's totally legit. Yeah, right. Lies. Us. Yeah. He didn't pull his gun. How did they know he had a gun? He didn't pull it. Bro, what are you? I wasn't there, but he didn't pull the gun. The video shows it. So when I say I wasn't there, all I mean is how do I know they knew? Apparently they saw it on him. He didn't pull it. Are you trying to say he pulled his gun? Are you really trying to argue that? I hope that's what you're trying to argue so I can make you look foolish. We all know Dem cheat. Well written. Then yelled gun first. I was there. Wait, was there a comment before that? The Border Patrol agents. I don't know. I don't know. The guy that got shot was reaching for it, but you're too fucking stupid to admit that there's facts. No, no, no. He wasn't reaching for it. Guys, did you even see the fucking video? It is as cut and dry as could possibly be. The gun wasn't on him when he got shot, John Thompson. You do know that an ICE agent took the gun off of him and was running away with it when he got shot, don't you? You do know that, right? No, you can't. No, you can't. You cannot. Watch this. You guys are so fucking dumb, man. Meanwhile, I asked you to go get me credible proof. You can't because there is none. If you're an illegal alien, but you obtained a driver's license, can you vote in federal elections? It is illegal for non-citizens to vote in a federal election. Hold on, wait a minute. Let me read you the whole thing. Okay, whatever. It is illegal to vote or illegal for non-citizens to vote in a federal election. As of 1996, federal law explicitly prohibits non-citizens from casting a ballot in federal elections. States have multiple systems in place to prevent non-citizen voting, and non-citizens face penalty for voting lawfully. Illegal voting in a federal election can result in a fine and up to 5 years in prison. A non-citizen found guilty of this crime may face deportation and revocation of their legal status under immigration law. Falsely claiming U.S. citizenship for the purpose of registering to vote may also result in deportation or denial of future immigration status. Let me see if I could get this full answer here. If you're an illegal alien in America, but you've obtained a driver's license, can you vote in federal elections? No. Non-citizens are strictly prohibited by federal law from voting in federal elections, regardless of whether they hold a valid driver's license. While some states allow undocumented immigrants to obtain driver's licenses for transportation and public safety purposes, these documents do not grant citizenship or the right to vote in federal contests such as those for the president of the president, the U.S. Senate, or the U.S. House of Representatives. Voter registration forms require applicants to swear under penalty of perjury they are U.S. citizens. Criminal penalties, illegally voting in a federal election can result in fines and up to 1 to 5 years in prison. Immigration consequences. Non-citizens who vote or falsely claim citizenship to register can face immediate deportation, revocation of legal status, and permanent bans from ever becoming a U.S. citizen. So even that tells you that even if they were somehow able to pull it off, they slipped through the cracks, they got registered, and they were able to vote, it's worth it to an illegal immigrant to risk immediate deportation just so he could vote? Yeah, you're a fucking moron, all of you guys. Again, no matter how many times I prove something wrong, you'll just keep saying it. No, as a matter of fact, most of them do now. It's only 17 states, I think, that don't, and that's because of Republicans. It's very simple how it works. And I'll tell you why Republicans have convinced you dummies that illegals are voting, because they're taking your rights away left and right. And every time they take a right away from you, they have to explain it away somehow. So you agree with it and you don't, there's not an uprising. So basically, it's unconstitutional to make you show an ID to vote. Anybody in the United States who's a citizen and is over the age of 18 is allowed to vote. No ID necessary. Okay. But Republicans know the more minorities vote in an election, the lesser chance they have of winning. Okay. It is a fact that a smaller percentage of the black population in this country has a state issued ID or a valid driver's license than the white population. Same things with Hispanics, Latinos, same thing. A smaller percentage of that population has a valid state ID or driver's license, okay, than white people. So if they suppress the minority vote, they have a greater chance of winning. So in order to take that right away from everybody, the right to vote without an ID, they just got to give you a bullshit reason why you need one. And they've convinced you dummies that illegal immigrants are voting. And that's why we have to have voter ID, even though, again, you cannot find me one instance in American history where there's been a widespread issue of illegal immigrants voting. Not one. It has never happened on any type of a large scale. Never. In no way that it's been outcome determinative. In other words, there was so many that it would change the outcome of an election. I love how stupid liberals are. The dumber they are, the louder they desperately want to show people how stupid. Faith, Family, and Freedom, 410-941-9850. Let's debate. Call in. For you guys to call anybody stupid is astonishing. You know that the conservative states in this country are the least educated, literally the stupidest, poorest states in the country, and the liberal states are the most educated, wealthiest states in this country, right? So it is actually a fact that you guys are dumber. Fox News even reported it once. It was hilarious. I got the screenshot of it. Come on, guys. For all the people that say I'm so stupid, call on in. 410-941-9850. I'm ready to take calls now. It is a fact. It is a fact. You want to see Jeremy Fields? What are the least educated states in the country?
Based on current data, the states with the lowest education levels are mainly in the South. West Virginia has the lowest overall ranking, along with Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, and Nevada, which consistently show lower rates of high school and college diplomas.
Which states have the highest education?
Massachusetts is often the most educated state, leading in both education and school quality. Other top states for overall education include Maryland, Connecticut, Vermont, and Colorado, which often rank high due to many residents having advanced degrees.
Yeah. Oh, Oklahoma is on there. I just didn't read the whole list. I just let her read it. It's let me see if I can give you the whole list. The top 10 least educated states: West Virginia, Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, Nevada, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Alabama, Kentucky, and Texas. The only one that's you can consider blue is New Mexico. So 9 out of the top 10 dumbest states in the country are red states. If you look at the electoral map from 2024 by education, the least educated states in this country with the highest rates of poverty voted for Trump. Whereas the most educated states in this country with the most wealth voted for Kamala. So yeah, when I say you're stupid, it's not my opinion. It's literally a fact. Look at you motherfuckers in the chat. You guys, seriously, you can't read or write. Look at the way you spell. Look at the way you write half capitals, half lowercase, random periods, or a complete and total lack of punctuation. You guys can barely speak the language, but you're bitching about immigrants speaking Spanish. It's so funny. Call me. Let's see who loses. So what about your Democrat state, Georgia? Georgia's a Democrat state? Since when?
Jeremy. To accept, press 1. To send a voice.
Hello?
Yo, this your show? Call in?
Yep.
All right. Well, you said call in.
Well, yeah, what would you like to debate about?
I was just listening to you call all of us dumb because the states that we live in are uneducated dumb people.
Not all of you as individuals, but the overwhelming majority. It's just the fact that you guys...
No, it's cool. It's said. So
Yeah, you guys are
I mean,
less educated. I'm not saying that there aren't individuals that are smart, but the overwhelming
so why are
majority,
you even saying it at all?
because it's true. I know facts are, you're allergic and stuff, but it's true.
I'm absolutely not allergic to facts. I will concede those facts are true. But what does that have to do with anything?
It has to do with the fact that you guys consistently are the least informed
No.
voters.
What does an advanced college degree have to do with voting? I want that. Because that would be the only thing that would have to do with your argument.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you something. Do people in college often learn more about things like economics than people who never went to college?
Okay, so you're telling me that an advanced college degree is what is needed or necessary to vote in the United States?
No. You just said that.
Okay, so what is your argument?
First of all, she said high school diplomas and advanced degrees. High school diplomas.
I don't care. That all is the basis that we are dumb. Why do we need these types of degrees to be able to vote?
Who said you need them?
I want to know why it is.
Who said you need them to vote?
Buddy, that's the end of your argument.
No, it's not.
You're saying that everybody that we are all from dumb states, or high school, we don't have as many high school graduates or college degrees.
Yep.
So therefore, we are all living in dumb states.
Yes.
So therefore, people that aren't smart are voting.
Yeah.
So
yes.
Why is it we need these degrees to make informed decisions?
I'll say it again. You don't.
Okay, so what's your point?
Because the fact that you are uninformed is why you've been voting against your own best interest for 50 years.
Buddy, what am I uninformed about?
Everything.
I am uninformed. Just because I don't accept your narrative towards certain things, and you don't accept my narrative towards certain things, does not make either one of us dumb.
Hey, do you think illegals can vote in federal elections?
No.
Oh, okay, good. I'll give you that. I'll give you credit for that. You think the 2020 election was stolen?
No.
Okay, so you're not MAGA then, right?
No, I am full-blown MAGA. You're talking about I don't know. So you're gonna take two things. So first of all, the argument about voter ID, I don't know why you guys go to these weird directions with them. I want to know specifically why voter ID is bad. Just tell me that. No, don't go on the illegals and no election was stolen. You tell me why I have to have one to get on an airplane, to buy cigarettes, but voting, the most sacred right in our country, people are too dumb to get an ID.
I'll tell you why. You ready?
No, I'm waiting.
Okay. There's nothing in the Constitution that says that you have the right to buy cigarettes or fly on a plane without an ID. You understand that? Nothing in the Constitution gives you a constitutional right to vote or buy cigarettes or fly on a plane without an ID. But it is in the Constitution that you can vote without one. You understand the huge difference there?
Right to bear arms. Wait. I have a constitutional right to bear arms, but I can't buy a gun unless I'm 18 and provide. So that your constitutional argument is null and void right there.
No, it's not. What you're saying is that the Constitution can be changed.
What?
You're saying that the Constitution can be changed or there can be laws made around it. Nobody's saying they can't make voter ID laws. The point is they're unconstitutional.
You said that I don't have a right to get on a plane.
No. I said it's not in the Constitution that you can get on a plane without a voter ID. It's in the Constitution that you can vote without one.
I just said I am affirming what you said. You are correct. There is nothing in the Constitution that says I have to have an ID. My question to you is, the Second Amendment says that I have a right to own a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yeah.
But I can't buy one until I provide identification, depending on what kind of gun it is, 18 or 21. And I have a constitutional right to these things, but still have to provide identification.
So basically what you're proving is simply this, There were laws made around the Second Amendment that make it legal for you to buy firearms. There's laws, there's rules. Okay. And now we've established that they're making it the law in a lot of states to have to register, I'm sorry, to Jesus Christ, I lost my fucking train of thought. To make it a requirement to have voter or to have ID to vote. So a lot of people think that's unconstitutional. Do you know that? Because it says in the Constitution that we all have the right to bear arms. You know, a lot of people do think it's unconstitutional that you need to be a certain age and you have to show ID and undergo a background check.
But now you're arguing in bad faith because you're twisting the argument around.
No, I'm not.
I don't care what most people think. You made an argument that it's our constitutional right. Therefore, we shouldn't have to provide it. We have a constitutional right for a Second Amendment, yet we have to provide ID. I don't care what some people think. I want to know.
It's proof of age, too. Somebody just brought up in the chat. It's very true. The ID is proof of age. That's why you got to show an ID to buy it. And you have to be a certain age because there's been gun laws made, just like there's voting laws. Huh?
You have to be 18 to vote. That's also proof of age.
Yes. No, it's not, because you have to be 18 to register to vote. So when you go to your polling place, you don't have to show that you're 18. It's already in the fucking book.
So, okay, first of all, that's bullshit. You know, that's a weird argument.
No, it's not.
I still haven't heard a reason why it is not against. I don't know why it's bad or it's harmful to people in America.
Will you allow me to answer? For fuck's sake, will you let me answer?
Sure.
Okay. Tell me something. What percentage of the black population has a state-issued ID or a valid driver's license?
I have no clue.
Okay. About 6.6% of the population doesn't have one. Okay. What percentage of the white population, hold on, what percentage of the white population doesn't have a state-issued voter ID or a valid driver's license?
I obviously don't know.
Okay, about 3%. You understand? So a larger portion of the black population will not be able to vote because they don't have an ID.
Okay, I get that point. Can I make a point back towards that?
Yes.
Okay, 2 points I would make back towards that. Number one, if I was a black person in America and a white guy was on TikTok telling me that I'm too either irresponsible or dumb to come up with something to do something, if I wanted to vote, if I was a black person in America and voting was sacred to me, you're saying that they're too dumb or too uninformed or can't get a ride somewhere to get an ID. So why would you say that?
Hold on, can I answer somebody in the chat real quick? Ashley, you're a dummy. You're going by which part of the population, which race there's more people in. It's per capita. So in other words, a lesser percent. Hold on, not you. Hold on, bro. I'm talking to Ashley. A smaller population of black people get to vote than white people if a voter ID is required. It doesn't matter if they only make up 13% of the population. Back to you, bro. What were you saying? Okay, I know what you were saying. Listen, so it doesn't mean I'm not telling them that they have less of a right to vote. No, because, bro, do you understand that there are people who are disadvantaged compared to you? Do you acknowledge that? Do you acknowledge that there are people that have lesser money than you and lesser access to transportation? Do you acknowledge that?
No.
Okay, then you're a fucking moron. Jesus
you know where I'm
Christ.
at right now?
You
now,
live
see, you're just screaming and
you
yelling
live
at
in
me,
a
calling me
bubble,
dumb.
bro.
Would you allow me to explain to you anything?
Go ahead.
I live in one of those uneducated states.
Of course.
I'm in America. I grew up with two parents on drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them went to prison under 18. What advantages did I have, my friend?
You're white.
Oh, so I can get an ID because I'm white.
No.
Perfect.
No, you said what advantages. You didn't say what extra access do you have to ID. You're asking two different questions.
My man, both of my parents are in prison, and I grew up in one of your dumb states,
Okay.
and I was still able to get an ID.
So,
Yet
okay,
I somehow,
hold on.
because of my skin
So that
color,
means that everybody everywhere has the same opportunity and access as you do to get an ID.
Why did you just say that? What do you mean? What are you talking about? You just asked me a question.
You're talking anecdotal evidence.
Me.
You're telling me since you grew up disadvantaged and can get an ID, then anybody disadvantaged can get one as easily as you.
My man, you're the one that brought the argument up. I didn't say anything about anybody being disadvantaged.
You asked me why a voter ID law suppresses the minority vote. You asked me why it hurts people, and I'm telling you.
I didn't ask you that.
You didn't ask me why
it's
voter
a bad
ID law
idea.
hurts the American people. You didn't ask me that.
Right. I asked you why it was a bad idea. You brought up race and demographics.
That's why. That's the answer. What do you want me to not bring up the answer because you don't like it?
But no, but you accused me of bringing up race and demographics. My point.
My God.
You asked me why. You bring up race and demographics. I didn't tell you about my personal demographics. You tell me my.
You told me about your
bullshit.
personal story
Everybody,
as anecdotal evidence as to why anybody could just go get an ID.
Dude, you are the most bad-faced arguer I've never heard.
No, I'm not.
You're the one that said these things.
No,
Yes,
let me explain this to you. Let me explain this to you, okay?
And then
Let me explain to you. Hold on,
then you can
bro.
talk.
Let me talk. Let me talk. Let me talk. So
Okay,
it's a fact, okay? You can look it up right now. It is a fact that a smaller percentage of the Black and Latino population have a valid state ID or driver's license. Okay, it is a fact. So considering that that's a fact, does it really matter why that is? The point is that is the fact. Do you understand?
Okay, just tell me when you're done.
Go ahead.
Just tell me when you're done.
Go ahead.
Okay. Do you think it's a fact that people that live in America are better off than people that live in Somalia?
I've never been to Somalia, but I'm assuming so, yes.
Okay, so where does the game of I'm not privileged enough stop? You know, where does that stop?
Nobody's saying anything about being privileged.
My man, you just brought up like the reason people can't get IDs. What?
No.
And they called me white. What do you mean? You called me white. You
The
brought up
fact
white privilege.
it's a fact that not as large a percentage of those populations have an ID. So therefore, wouldn't it lead you to believe it's more difficult for them?
No, it would lead me to believe
So-
that they don't really need it or care.
So all right, let's just say that's the case. Let's just say you don't care enough to go get an ID. You shouldn't have the right to vote because of that.
Correct. If you cared about voting, you would care to go get that ID.
But even though the Constitution says you can vote and it says nothing about needing an ID.
It says I can have a gun, but let's say that I didn't care about going and getting an ID.
I'll explain to you
I'm allowed to have
again.
a gun.
I'll explain to you again. The Constitution says that you have the right to bear arms. The law made it so that you need to be a certain age and you have to show ID, right? So all that proves is that a law was created for it. The same as a law was created in most states that you now need a voter ID. It doesn't mean it's constitutional. Donald Trump just said a couple of months ago that you are now going to be prosecuted if you burn the American flag, even though the Supreme Court ruled that it's a constitutional right. Do you understand? So you can make up laws to infringe on people's constitutional rights. It doesn't make it okay.
Okay, so
can I give you an example? I am a man who's 46 years old, okay? I have a record, but nothing violent. I have nothing on my record violent. I only have a couple of drug offenses. Because of that, my Second Amendment right was taken away. Is that constitutional? Fuck no. Is that the law they made, even though it's unconstitutional? Yes. Doesn't make it right.
listen, man, I'm in the same boat as you, okay? I get it. I'm in the same boat as you. But that doesn't mean that what I did, I knew going into the laws that I broke, that this could affect me in this way.
Well, yeah,
I have to accept the fact that I did it.
Me too. That's not the point. The point is that they're not supposed to be able to take your constitutional right away for that. It doesn't mean that we're not taking responsibility for our crimes. It's just saying that that shouldn't be the way it is. And courts have already ruled in the past couple of years that it is unconstitutional to take away a Second Amendment right from somebody who has non-violent felonies. And then another court shot it down.
Answer me this.
Go ahead.
Just this. If someone in America right now who's 18 years old and is in the absolute, and I've got, and I mean, I'm going to ask you this, and then I have a feeling what you're going to say, and then let me just start. Someone who is 18 years old is in the worst of economic and social, they're at the bottom of the rung, completely screwed in America right now. And let's say they know in 6 months that is their chance to vote, and they want to do it. Are you telling me that they have no possible way to do something in 6 months that they would like to do?
Is there anything you want to do in 6 months that you can't do? Like I'll give you an example. Within 6 months, I'm answering it. Hold on. In 6 months, I want to be living in a fucking multi-million-dollar mansion in Fort Lauderdale, but I can't because I don't have the money. You understand?
And you're going to equivocate that, having millions of dollars, to going and getting a fucking ID?
Yes, because it's about having the money or not. Yes.
Okay. You don't even need money, my man.
Yes, you do.
I have worked in homelessness. No. I've worked in the homelessness industry for 10 years.
The homelessness industry?
A fucking million. The homeless, that's what it is. It's an industry of different. It's actually called our COC, our Continuum of Care.
Okay.
So whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
There is a million different ways right now. I can tell you, in the poorest country in America, a million different ways to get your birth certificate, social security card, and your ID for free right now.
Well, how come I could never get a state issued ID or a driver's license for free? Never. But by the way, what you're saying is what you're probably talking about. Hold on. What you're probably talking about, somebody is paying for it. It's just not the homeless person.
Listen, my friend, it depends on you're making I'm making the case that they're at the bottom of the rung. If you don't get an ID for free, that means you're not extremely poor.
No, that doesn't mean that. You could, if say the poverty line is $12,000 fucking dollars and it's a family of fucking 4. And you have no money. Who are you going to say? How are you going to possibly say whether somebody's poor or not, bro? How do you know what their grocery bill is? How do you know what their medical bills are? There's no way to say if somebody's poor. I could be making $200,000 a year and not have $20 to spare. That's possible.
You're going to equivocate. $12 it costs in West Virginia, the poorest state in the country, full of a bunch of dumb people. It costs $12 to get an ID, and you can't do that within 6 months, and you're going to equivocate that with having a fucking mansion in Florida.
The point is, bro, it's an analogy. It's all about having the money to do what you want. You said, hold on. Yes, because you said if you want it in 6 months, you can get it. There's shit I want in 6 months I can't get because I don't have the money. They don't have the money. To some people, $12 is $1 million. They are broke. They live in abject poverty. You live in a fucking bubble where you've never been around poor people. You sound like an asshole because you're another MAGA person that has no compassion for people you don't understand.
I literally work in homelessness, man.
Oh, God. Have you been homeless?
I have been homeless, you motherfucker. That's why
according to you. According to you. Yeah. And when you were homeless, did you have the money to go get an ID?
I didn't give a fuck when I was homeless.
Okay. Did you have the money when you were homeless to get an ID?
No.
Oh, there you see. Oh, look at that. He got it. He finally got it.
Again.
Oh, now you did.
Okay. Again, I was homeless, so it was free. I don't understand what you're not. I was homeless at the time, so then it becomes free. In every fucking state in this country. I guarantee it.
So what if you're not homeless?
Then it's $12 fucking.
What if you don't have $12? What if you have $12, but you don't have transportation to a driver's license center?
This is just how ridiculous this
No.
conversation
Hold
gets
on.
to. It's
What if
like,
you
somebody doesn't
hold
have
on?
$12 in
Hold
6
on. What
months.
if you have $12 and you have a ride to a driver's license center, but you don't have a car to use to take your driver's test? Do you see how there's different variables that make it difficult for people to get an ID?
Why
Do
do
you
you
acknowledge that?
Why are you taking a driver's test? You don't even need a car. You get an ID, a state-issued ID. You don't need a car. You
Well,
don't
we
need
were talking
anything.
about a license.
I'm talking about a fucking ID to vote.
Okay, so
state
back to the
issue.
question. What if you don't have a ride to go get one? What if you don't have the money to pay for one?
But see, this is what I'm saying, my man. It becomes a ridiculous argument.
No, it doesn't. No, because the
America
root of
with
the
this
argument is still that it is your constitutional fucking right to vote without an ID. And the only people insisting on it are Republicans for the obvious reason that the less minorities vote, the more chance they have of winning. So you're still getting away from the root of the argument that you're not supposed to need an ID. And that's why at least 17 states in this country, you don't need one. How come the 17 states in this country where you don't need a voter ID has never had widespread issues with voter fraud? Why?
I don't even care about voter fraud. I mean, that's not even the point of my argument.
So why should we need an ID?
To prevent anything in the future.
Voter fraud?
Any type of fraud. It would essentially, yes, be voter fraud if you're asking for an ID.
But you don't care about voter
I'm
fraud. You
not,
just said it.
When?
You just said I don't care about voter fraud.
In this argument.
No, you said I don't care about voter fraud.
I mean, while we're in this argument right now, I'm not bringing up voter fraud for the reason that I'm.
Okay, listen. Can you give me information on what, like, let's just say percentages or any issues where there's been widespread voter fraud in states that have led Republicans to say, okay, we have to stop this by implementing voter ID laws?
No, that's what
exactly.
I said,
because there hasn't been any. Because there hasn't been any. Because this country figured out elections a long time ago, and you don't need an ID.
But we haven't, my man, because look what happened yesterday in Virginia.
What happened?
Yesterday in Virginia, the legislation passed or tried to push through a legislation that people can now vote online.
Okay.
So, okay, yeah, no problems. Can't see any type of problems there. Considering my bank has been hacked 4 fucking times this year, there can't be any problem there.
You don't think hold on. Do you think it's just like entering like a TikTok chat, or do you think that there's some sort of safeguards in place to make sure that the right people are voting online?
I just said my bank, who I'm sure has very sophisticated security, has been hacked 4 times this year.
So back to the question about voting. So what you're saying is that because you got hacked, then definitely people. Let me ask you something. Where is the motivation amongst these large groups of people to vote fraudulently? What is the motivation behind it? And where is this happening?
Where would the motivation be? Are you being serious?
Yeah.
Can we use hypotheticals?
Well, what you're saying is, let me just say, because you just brought up your bank being hacked. What you're saying is that an individual who's illegal in this country illegally is so motivated to vote that they're going to learn how to become a hacker, then hack your fucking computer, and then vote illegally, even though that makes them 1,000 times more likely to be deported instantaneously.
Bro, why do you take things to some weird level? No,
I don't.
Imagine a state actor.
I asked you for the motivation. I asked you.
Fucking single guy. Why do you bring up these arguments? They're just so nonsensical. Of course not. I'm talking about Russia.
Hey, did you hear when, let me ask you something. Did you hear when Donald Trump said that Elon Musk went to Pennsylvania and he knows so much about the computers, we won the state?
Well, so now you're going to take my point, which is it can't be illegal.
No. If you're worried about if you're worried about voting fraud by computer, does that worry you that Donald Trump said that because Elon Musk knows so much about computers and the voting systems, we won PA? Does that worry you?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, fine. Let's call PA. Let's say we lied and fucking stole it.
I'm not saying you did.
Does that give
I'm
you
just
any
saying
direction?
it's very selective what
No.
you're worried about. Very selective.
No, dude, I have been very consistent here. I think
Okay.
voting in America should be in person with an ID. That's all I'm saying. I'm being very consistent. I'm not bringing up.
And the reason for that is what? The reason for that is what?
The reason for that is, let's say you're right about everything you said in the past.
Okay.
The reason would be to prevent anything from happening in the future.
Oh, so in other words, it would be like if we made gun laws to prevent more mass shootings, even though that's unconstitutional.
What?
See what I just did there?
Why are I don't understand the arguments that you make. You go to these weird
Okay. No. You just don't understand me. Okay. It doesn't mean I go to weird extremes. Let me go over the argument again. Hold on. I brought up, okay, that voter ID is unconstitutional. And you said, but you should need an ID to vote because I need to be 18 or 21 to buy a gun. That's my Second Amendment right. You brought up the Second Amendment thing. So now what you're saying is our constitutional rights should be infringed just so nothing happens in the future, exactly like what Democrats might say about wanting to implement gun laws so there's not certain gun tragedies in the future. And you're against that, correct?
But they do that. They do that all the time.
Like what?
They've
When?
infringed on, huh?
Like what?
Like Massachusetts or New York. How many concealed weapons permits are issued by the state of New York every year? They do this all the time.
Do you think that's unconstitutional?
Yeah.
So do
I
I.
do. I think red flag laws are unconstitutional.
Exactly. Now you got it.
I don't think that having an ID to show them that I'm 18 to buy a gun is unconstitutional. I don't think I have a right to have, the Constitution says I have the right to bear arms. I don't have a problem with showing them that I'm 18 and providing my identification. Voting is provided to us by the Constitution. I don't have a problem. Your problem seems to be centered in the disenfranchised people of this world are unable to something that they want dearly to do, but they are unable to, in their lives, muster up the $12 to do it.
No, I'm not saying that. The numbers are telling you that for whatever reason it is, a smaller percentage of those populations have government issued voter ID, ID or a driver's license. Okay, that's what the facts are telling you. And the argument is supposed to be what it was supposed to be from the beginning is that that's why they're implementing voter ID laws, is because Republicans are constantly doing shady shit to try to fix elections. I'll give you an example. Donald Trump knows he's going to get wiped out in the midterms. So months ago, he called Greg Abbott and said, I need you to find me 5 House seats. And all of a sudden, we're doing mid-fucking-decade redistricting, which we're not supposed to do. You understand? Because they have to come up with ways to fix elections so that they win. This is why they don't even want women to be able to vote anymore.
Can I talk now?
Go ahead.
Okay. Tell me this. Look, now if you're going to bring up the terrible and completely insane mid fucking decade redistricting, answer me this. Why can a state like Massachusetts, who has about 45% of the state votes Republican, but has zero people in Congress, are you telling me that you guys haven't already gerrymandered the shit so far that there's nowhere you can take it from here?
So you're changing the argument, in other words.
So you brought up that. You brought up Trump.
No. You've changed the argument from mid-decade redistricting, which is not normal. You changed that to just the question of redistricting and whether or not that's right.
What I'm saying is this. Go ahead and us Republicans would say, go for it. Do some redistricting right now. The point is you guys have already done it to the max. That's why the Democrats are lying. They've already done this, and there's no further they can take it.
How come Indiana, how come all these places are doing it as we speak if we already did it to the max? How come California's doing it, Indiana's doing it, Virginia's doing it? Why is that?
You just said it was highly irregular.
Mid-decade redistricting?
Yes.
No,
So
you
said
changed the
irregular. I
argument
agree
from
with that.
mid-decade to just plain old gerrymandering. You changed the argument, not me. So you said they've already done it to the max, except they're still redistricting, and they're going to do it in Virginia, Indiana. They've done it in California, or they're going to do it in California.
Okay,
So how did they do
fine.
it to the
My point is
max?
this. Okay, my point is this. They've done it to the max. They might be able to squeeze out a few. I'll
Okay.
concede that. Fine.
All
My
right.
statement was not entirely correct.
All right.
They can squeeze out a few. But
All right.
they know that if Republicans go squeezing out the way they do, they're going to get fucking blown out. Because Republicans have not. You can look up. You know, these numbers are very easy to look up, man. The Democrats have gerrymandered way more than the Republicans.
Okay.
Absolutely, hands down, way more.
All right. Let me ask you something.
They're easy
What
numbers
was?
to look up.
Let me ask you something.
How would you
Let
have a state?
Billy.
Okay.
All right. How many? What Democrat state was planning on doing mid-decade redistricting before Donald Trump called Greg Abbott and said, "I need you to give me 5 more House seats"?
In this race, none. It sounds like the Republicans did it.
Okay, there you go. So what is it? What are you talking about? Like, why are you even bringing up Democrats when Democrats are only fighting back? You're saying they know they can get wiped out, but like Republicans can gerrymander more, and you're right. And you're saying Democrats can get beat by that. But in order for you to have a point, you'd have to be saying that Democrats started an unwinnable fight, which they didn't. They're just simply fighting back.
Okay, I'm just looking that up, and yes, there have been redistricting, mid redistricting, and Democrats have done it before.
Oh yeah, I didn't say they didn't. I said it's not common.
Okay, so
It's
why-
not what
why
we
do they
usually
give it to?
do.
Why do they make it a big argument if they've done it before too? Like why?
Because we're talking
make an
about
argument out of
the
something they've done?
2026 midterms, Billy. You understand? We're not talking about the past.
Okay.
You,
But you can't make it. My point of bringing up the past is it's very hard to look at somebody and say, I can't believe you would do this. No, you've done it.
do you know the circumstances around every time that happened?
No, and I don't care to look it up.
Oh, exactly. You don't care to look it up. In other words, it wasn't a Democrat president who called a governor of a state and said, "Find me more House seats because I'm going to lose the midterms."
That's not sure exactly what happened when the Democrats did it. Why else would they have done it?
But you're not sure.
Why else would they have done it?
Why don't you look it up and tell me?
I don't need to because I don't care. The logical conclusion.
You don't
would be
care
that
about
they
the
needed-
answer.
they needed a
Exactly.
House seat.
Okay, so you don't care about the answer. Fine. There you go.
I'm just saying, what would the other reason be, my man, is my point. I'm saying we take this back historically. Democrats have done it more. There is way more Democrats have gerrymandered and done mid-decade redistricting more than Republicans.
How much
have done.
more than
what I'm
Republicans?
arguing is-
How much more than Republicans have they done it?
I've done this on ChatGPT. I'm not going to give you the exact numbers
Okay.
because
Yeah.
I can't remember them.
You don't know. Yeah,
But it is.
I got you. So it's just you
I just
guessing.
said I don't. So you're telling me that I don't know the exact numbers, so what I'm saying is wrong. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that since you don't know the exact numbers, there's a good chance you're just saying it because you want to win the argument.
But okay. So the guy who's been arguing in bad faith half time is now.
No.
telling me
You
I'm
say
arguing.
I've been arguing in bad faith. I haven't.
Okay. Well, you can say that, but I mean, I feel like the evidence is the contrary.
All right. Well,
I mean, we can both
you're
wait.
entitled to your opinion. That's fair.
I'm just saying I've looked them up before. I'm on the phone right now. I don't have time to go look year to year, but I have done this before. When the Greg Abbott thing came out, I was like, okay, well, who's done this more? And it was surprise, Democrats.
You just don't know how
That's my
much more
point.
or anything. And you don't know the reasons behind why they did it. All we know for sure is that Donald Trump did it because he knows he's going to lose the midterms.
Do you guys realize that sometimes this is why it's hard to have like an argument with you guys?
Yeah, because
like,
we use logic and
you're
reasoning.
American,
I understand.
I'm an American.
I understand when
Right.
one person just wants to say shit and the other person presents facts and logic and reasoning, that's hard for you. I know.
You're saying that you're the facts and logic and reasoning?
Yes,
What?
yes,
Is that what you're saying?
yes, yes.
Okay. Well, so I have not any of your claims that you've made so far. I have not asked you for the exact number. And then
You didn't have to. I gave you the numbers. I gave you the numbers about voter ID. The original thing this argument was about, I gave you the numbers. I told you it's about 6.6% of the African American population does not have a. And listen, there's one I left out. You want to hear the best part? 23% of the African American population in this country does not have a valid driver's license. 6.6% of the African American population does not have a state issued ID. Whereas for white people, it's about 3%.
Show me that one.
Okay. Well, I didn't add the 23% for the license. I just did 6.6 for the state issued ID.
Yeah, you told me that one. And listen, I 44% of the issue. Okay, yeah. So here's your numbers. You want to know? It's
Go ahead.
around 44% more. Democrats have gerrymandered while you were talking, because you already told me that.
All right.
Gerrymandered around 44% more since the beginning than Republicans. So that's a pretty big number.
Mid district or mid decade redistricting.
Okay, I just looked up gerrymandering. Okay.
Well, nobody
I
argued
don't know
whether
how to
they. We know they gerrymandered more. That's why Republicans can come up with more Republican seats than the Democrats can. But you said they did more mid-decade redistricting, bro. That's what you said.
Okay, so but this is where I guess us Republicans, when we hear things like that, we're like, well, fuck, man. So you guys can concede that you've done it more for a long time.
Gerrymandering?
Gerrymandering, yes.
Yeah. I never denied it.
Okay, but then from our side, when we hear like, well, now we got to play by the rules that we have ourselves broke too. You know, we gerrymandered more for a long time.
How did we break rules? Well, how do we break rules?
We've also done mid redistricting. We've done that as well.
When?
This time right now is what pisses us off. I mean, that argument, when we hear it, it's just like, okay, well, who cares?
Well, of course you don't care because you only worry about yourselves and your guy. That's it. So you don't give a shit.
Did you not hear the entire fucking lead up to that? Why we don't care about this particular argument?
Well, because you're doing a false equivalency. You're talking about regular gerrymandering versus mid-decade redistricting.
I lumped them all up in a hole, and I said, you can concede that you guys have gerrymandered more than us. Now, you have also, I'm sure I can look it up, and I would almost bet you a fucking $1,000 right now that you guys have even done the mid-decade redistricting more. But I don't even care. My point is, we look at it like, okay, here's a party that has done everything more than us, but every time we do it, it's the end of the fucking world. That's what we hear.
No,
that's why when I'm saying when we hear these arguments, we just turn our ears off because it's just so like, okay, yes, we're such terrible people that have done the same things as you. I mean, it's all from that.
No, again, you're just changing the argument, bro. You can't give me an exact comparison of when Democrats called up a state and said, change the fucking redraw the lines, redistrict so that we can have a better chance at winning the fucking midterms. This is a president called a governor of a state, just like he did in Georgia when he said, find me 11,000 votes. Now he said, find me 5 more House seats. And the whole argument is that Republicans constantly have to lie, cheat, and steal to win elections. That's a fact.
Did you not? Okay. I want to refute two of those things. Did you not see the map after the last election of all of the counties that were red?
Yeah.
in America.
Yeah.
Do you think we really need to cheat with all that red?
Yes.
Okay, fine. That's an opinion. Okay.
Do you want to know why, though? It's called population density, bro. Those blue states on the coasts, they have more people than all that red in the middle. I mean, that's why there's an electoral college and we don't go by the popular vote, because there would never be a Republican president if we just went by the popular vote.
They just won. We just won.
Yeah, but it doesn't happen often. And Trump won against a woman who was, hold on, Trump won the popular vote against a woman who had 107 days to run when he had years to run, and he was already president once. 107 days she had, and she only lost by 2 million votes when Trump lost to Biden by 7 million votes. Yeah, land doesn't count, Jim. Exactly, huh?
We also won the popular vote in 2000.
In 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going back to 2000 now.
But you understand, this is my point. But like I say, again, I agree with you.
Okay.
Big cities have more people.
Yes.
I agree with you.
Yes.
Electoral college. All that is in agreement with you.
Mhm.
What I'm saying is, now at this point, I feel like Republicans have never, ever in my lifetime, and you can disagree, I feel like we've never actually fought with the same intensity that the Democrats have. We've never gerrymandered like the Democrats have. We've never actually went out and done the things that the Democrats have. And now that we are saying, well, we're just going to play by their rules. Now you guys say we're breaking all the rules and we're the evil fucking, MAGA fucks. And all we're doing is basically what you guys have always done. And now you're mad about it.
No, because you're comparing regular gerrymandering, which both parties do and have always done, versus mid-decade redistricting, only for the only purpose to make sure that Donald Trump isn't a lame duck after 2026.
Okay, that was my second point I was going to bring up.
Okay.
The reason we know that's what happened with Trump and calling Greg Abbott is because he fucking told on himself. So
he's a moron.
I would say,
Yeah.
I agree. He talks way too fucking much.
Yes.
I agree, but here's my point. Do you think of all of the Democrats that have gerrymandered in the mid-decade that wasn't the exact fucking reason that went on behind closed doors? We just don't know it. Now, I can't prove it, obviously, but I'm saying, why else would you be doing mid-district redistricting or mid-decade redistricting? It would only be for one reason. It's just the fact that Trump comes out and fucking tells on himself. It's the only reason you know about it.
He's a fucking moron, bro. And the whole point is that these things they do, like voter ID, is to give themselves better chances of winning the election. That's it. They don't even want. You're going to tell me that a large percentage of the Republican Party doesn't want to take away women's rights to vote? Politicians, regular individuals, everyday individuals. I've heard every type of Republican talk about wanting to take a woman's right to vote away. This is all so they have a better chance at winning. And this guy right here, hold on, Billy, don't get mad at me. I'm just going to answer a question in the chat. Billy Foltz said, bro, a black tried to get ID. Isn't that crazy? Everybody knows blacks can't have ID. That would end the world. Okay, I don't even know. He's not even speaking English. Sorry, go ahead, bro. Sorry, Billy.
What, me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So I just looked it up. And, okay, I'll go ahead and concede that I was wrong on it says Republicans have generally done more mid-decade redistricting for political gain. Okay, so I don't know what the actual number is, and this is the problem too. And I'm not saying that everything is based against us, but here's something that we notice as people, as Republicans, when we look shit up. So just real quick, and I gotta go, and I mean it's been a good chat. I don't wish anybody harm. I wish to God all of us in America would get along better. We are all privileged in this country.
Yes.
Every one of us, no matter how poor or rich you are, this is the. I mean, I feel like, and I used to work on cruise ships, and I went around the world, and I couldn't ever wait to get home because obviously it's home, and it is the best country in the world. There are, countries on par with it, Australia and Canada. But here's my worry: when we allow liberals to just run amok, both of us need pushback. Republicans need pushback, and Democrats need pushback.
All right, can I just
worry on your guys' side? On your guys' side, if there's no pushback, you end up like, look what's going on in Australia right now. I mean, they just passed a law that kids can't be on the internet, and it's all always based on like the good of the people. But you know, so was the fucking the act after 9/11 that Bush did. That I totally the anti-terrorism thing.
Yeah.
You can say it's for the good of people as you take their fucking rights away.
Yeah.
But you look at the UK, they're knocking on doors because of social media posts. All liberal.
All right, but listen, do me a favor.
Australia.
Let's stick to the U.S. And can you just tell me before you go, what happens when liberals run amok in the U.S.? What is the worst that happens? Like what? We all get free health care, or we get like 50 grand to start a small business, or working classes the working people's taxes get lowered. What just is too much for you to deal with when liberals run amok?
Okay. Well, I guess I'll sit here for a minute longer. So the 50,000 tax thing that you just brought up was illegal as fuck.
How?
It was illegal.
How?
Because she said she was giving $50,000 to black people.
No, she didn't.
That's illegal.
She did not.
Dude, look it up.
Look it up.
Exactly
I'm begging you, Billy. I'm begging you from the bottom of my heart. I'm begging you to please look it up. If Kamala Harris said every American that wants to start a small business can get $50,000. Go ahead.
Bro, you just lost an argument there. But
no, I didn't. Kamala never said only black people.
I remember listening to her say it.
She didn't say that.
Okay.
All right, hold on. Because if you're not going to look it up, I am. I'm not going to let you get away with that. Hold on.
Okay.
What did Kamala Harris say about $50,000 to Americans to start a small business?
Kamala Harris suggested raising the
Kamala Harris, hold on, let me let her read it.
Kamala Harris suggested raising the tax deduction for small business startup costs. She proposed increasing it from $5,000 to $50,000 to support entrepreneurship, which is part of her Opportunity Economy plan.
There you go. Let me see. Was Kamala's $50,000?
Wait.
Hold on. Hold on. What?
You brought up fucking tax incentives. The $50,000 loan to small businesses was directly for black people. I don't know what you're talking. You just brought up incentives.
Okay. Can I ask? Hold on. Did Kamala Harris ever propose giving $50,000 to black people to start a small business? If you're talking about an opportunity agenda for black men, that was forgivable loans up to $20,000. We're talking about two different things. So now watch. Was Kamala Harris's tax deduction of $50,000 for small businesses for everyone or just for black people? Can't believe all this.
Kamala Harris proposed increasing the tax deduction for small business startup costs to $50,000 for all qualified businesses. While this helps all entrepreneurs, the plan also aims to support underserved communities, including Black-owned businesses, to address the wealth gap.
There you go. So everybody. And by the way, if you're going to say it's a tax deduction, what is the no tax on tips and no tax on overtime?
First off, I didn't hear your last question, but you didn't when you spouted off those three things after I talked about something, and you spouted off what would be bad about liberals running free healthcare, which that could be a whole other discussion of fucking absolute utter disaster. But
why?
I don't. Oh my God!
We're the only civilized country in the fucking United States.
If you
I mean, in the world. Go ahead.
Or if you think that America should give free health care, are you saying to everybody, or are you saying Medicaid?
Whatever, some sort of universal health care. Yeah, everybody, yes. As a human right, yes, free health care. Yeah.
Okay. That's a whole God. I could argue with you for 3 days, man.
No, I know. My point is, all I'm
because-
asking you, bro, is that when people say like liberals have gone too far, now I agree. There's certain issues with liberals I can't stand. Certain if you listen to me quite often, you know that certain trans issues and stuff I'm not on board with and all that. But the bottom line is what liberals want for this country is for everybody to have equal rights, free health care. They want them to be able to go to college without going fucking bankrupt. They want stuff like this. They want people to be fed free school lunches, these types of things. The Republicans literally want to take every single thing they can from poor people so they can give it to the richest people in this country. So when Republicans run amok, that's when we got to be worried, and that's what they're doing now.
But listen, my man, you can't honestly. I know this is the internet and there's a lot of hyperbole, but you can't honestly. I mean, I've just talked to you for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You can't honestly believe this is the position of the Republicans.
Well, then why is it all happening?
What has happened? What are you talking about? What has happened? What have they taken away?
They
this whole argument happened after the election, where all the liberals were on the internet everywhere talking about women. They're taking away all my rights. They're taking away my rights.
Yes, they did.
I mean, what rights were taken away?
Their reproductive rights.
Name again a right that was taken away.
Their reproductive rights. I just did, bro.
So reproductive rights are in the Constitution.
Oh, now you're bringing up the Constitution, which earlier didn't mean much to you.
It did mean something to me. I don't know what you're talking about. I said I believe in the Constitution.
Did Roe versus Wade? Did Roe versus Wade, which was ruled on by the Supreme Court in the 70s, did that give women the right to choose what they do with their own bodies?
Now, if you want to get on
No. Please answer the question. Was it or wasn't it?
Did Roe v. Wade allow for abortion? Yes.
Okay. Was that taken away?
By Roe v. Wade? By the reversal of Roe v. Wade?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. That's the
it didn't take away their right to get it. It took away the federal protection nationwide. They can still get it. You can get it mailed to your house right now. So the right wasn't taken away.
No, bro. In many of these states, because now it's up to the states. It's not a federal law that it's legal. So now states get to say,
from the other state.
Order what?
The abortion pill. What do you know how abortions work? 90% of abortions are done with the abortion pill. You just order them.
You know that it's illegal, right? It's states that have made it illegal. You can't get it from another state. There are states that if you drive to another state to get an abortion, you will get locked the fuck up. It's not allowed.
Completely fucking false.
That's not.
That is the most fucking ridiculous statement you said so far.
Okay.
I mean, come on, bro. I mean, if something like that happened, you don't think the fucking MS Now would be fucking blaring it from the top of their fucking building for 6 fucking months, dude? That is, I mean, the hyperbole just goes to
what is MS Now?
Oh my God, MSNBC. They changed the name of it.
Oh, okay. You watch that shit?
No.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
I'm just saying that if that was a reality of situation in America, you think it would just be like me and you talking about on TikTok? Like it would be plastered across TV day and night.
But are you sure some of these things?
You just said if someone leaves a state that abortion is not legal and goes to another state, that they'll get thrown in jail in the state they live in.
All right, you know what? Listen, I'm going to concede here. Hold on. I was wrong about that, but let me read you something. Some Republican state lawmakers are pursuing measures to restrict traveling out of state for abortions, particularly by targeting those who help minors, while others focus on passing state-level bans. Proposed laws such as in Missouri and Idaho aim to ban abortion trafficking, making it illegal to help a minor travel for an abortion without parental consent. But it's not just minors. And my apologies, I thought that was already in place in some states. It's not.
So on that argument there, I disagree with that. So do most people. That's why it won't pass. So it's not a thing. just because some fucking wackadoo Republican says that they're going to arrest girls for leaving the state doesn't mean shit.
But again, can we just go back, because I said that Roe v. Wade, it was federal law that women can have abortions no matter where they live. They can have abortions, right? Once they repealed it, now even you said you have to travel to another state. Why should you have to do that if the Supreme Court settled on this a long time ago, that women have the right to choose? And how can you say their right wasn't taken away if years ago they had the right and now they no longer have the right? If your state, this goes to resources again too. Like, for example, say you live in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania, okay? And it's
listen,
hold on.
Argue about this one. You're right on this one. I'll concede right now on this one. I'm not even going to go down the path. Personally, myself, I am pro-life.
All right.
I am socially pro-choice because I'm not going to tell anybody else what to do. I think it should be a states' right thing. I wasn't too much caring when they reversed it, but I don't support them making people getting people arrested. However, I do think that the states where it's illegal, they should still be able to order it, and because 90% of abortions are done with a pill, and if something goes wrong with the pill, then they should be able to go in the hospital and complete it without being arrested. That seems to me like a pretty a view, because that view right there, the reason that one right there is so charged, dude, is because people are 100% diametrically opposed on that one. So there are people, that's why that one is just a supercharged one that will never be resolved.
Yeah.
So mine is the middle ground on it, like, which I think most Republicans are middle ground on it. And, yes, we do have crazy people saying that they want to arrest people, but so do you guys. You guys got people saying that they should be able to do it like when the baby's born in 3 days.
No. There was one lunatic from fucking West Virginia or something that said that. Nobody. It is murder to kill a living being. Once you are outside of the womb, it is murder. Nobody except for one lunatic.
I didn't say 3 days after it was born. I didn't say after it was born.
Oh, okay.
I said there are many liberals that I have heard give the reasoning they believe it and why they think abortion should be legal up to the day of birth, not after it's born, obviously.
I've never
heard that argument.
I've never heard that argument, up to the day of birth. There's no such thing as abortion up to the day of birth.
Oh my God. Okay, so I'm saying like abortion up to the 10th month. That's what I'm saying. That you, if you're going to tell me you've never heard a liberal say that, then we're not playing right again, because
the 10th month. So
I'm conceding on Republicans saying wild shit. I mean,
no, but I mean, what do you mean the 10th month? I'm confused about that.
I'm saying there are a shit load of Democrats that in front of Congress or whoever, they think abortion should be legal up to, like say up till the, I don't know what you call it, conception. Like, you should be able to do it clear up until the baby's born.
Okay.
Is that an argument that you would argue?
Well, that's insane. If that's true, that's absolutely insane. But I'm telling you, I swear to you, I'm not lying. I've never heard. Let me see. There's one thing here. Austin American statesman Marionette Miller Meeks, the Democrats' Women's Health Protection Act of 2022 would. See, I don't even know that that's true though. That's an Austin newspaper. Virginia late-term abortion bill labeled infanticide.
I'm saying that. What I'm saying, I was on the right thing. I conceded that they overturned Roe v. Wade. I don't know. I'm not even going to say whether because I'm a middle of the road person. I personally, I do think it is killing a baby. Me, personally. But I live in America, a society that I can't tell everybody what to do. And if everybody agrees on something, then I'm fine with that.
All right, can I just read you something real quick? Because I looked it up. While some Republicans, critics, and political advertisements characterize certain Democratic sponsored bills as allowing abortion until birth, no prominent Democratic-sponsored legislation at the state or federal level allows for unrestricted abortion on demand up until the day of birth. Instead, Democratic proposals typically focus on codifying the standards of Roe v. Wade, which allow for state-level restrictions after fetal viability while requiring exceptions for the life and health of the mother. So no.
Yeah, so yeah, right. So I agree, and there's no legislation, just like there's no, the people that, there's no actual legislation, or there's no people that support, arresting girls for leaving the state.
Yeah.
And
Gotcha.
what I'm saying is there's extremes on both sides. I think most people are in the middle. Most Republicans I know are in the middle. We have a view on it that if we do think it's killing a baby, but most of us understand that we live in a democracy and in a society.
But so, Donald Trump said that any woman that has an abortion should be punished.
I don't think he said that.
I'm going to pull it up for you. Hold on.
I don't believe that.
Hold on. Let me just pull it up. Give me a second. Donald Trump says women who get abortions should be punished.
Donald Trump says women who get abortions should be punished.
Where the fuck is it? Oh, here you go. Here, listen.
This presidential election is going to be very important because when you say what's the law, nobody knows what the law is going to be. It depends on who gets elected because somebody's going to appoint conservative judges and somebody's going to appoint liberal judges depending on who wins.
I've never understood the pro-life position.
Well,
I never understood it because I understand the principle. It's human life as people see it. But what crime is it?
Well, it's human life.
No, should the woman be punished for having an abortion?
Look. I would say that it's a very serious problem, and it's a problem that we have to decide on. It's very.
But you're forbidding it.
Say, well, wait. Are you going to say put them in jail? Is that?
Well, no, what I'm asking you because you say you want to ban it. What's that mean?
I am pro-life. Yes.
What is ban? How do you ban abortion? How do you actually do it?
Well, you'll go back to a position like they had, where people will perhaps go to illegal places.
Yeah.
But you have to ban it.
Do you believe do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no? Is it principle?
The answer is that there has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
10 cents, 10 years.
I don't know.
Why not?
I don't know.
You take positions and everything else.
Frankly, I do take positions.
So there you go.
So I was reading that at the same time you're looking it up. And so this right here says the context, the interview occurred while Trump was a candidate for the Republican president nominee, during which also he stated believing in banning abortion. When pressed by Matthews to confirm the punishment for a woman, Trump said, yes, there has to be some sort of punishment. The exchange, when asked by Chris Matthews, Trump replied, the answer to that is there has to be some sort of punishment. But this was pertaining to the conversation, though. If you scale back the whole conversation, it was pertaining to states that had banned it. So if a state bans it and you still have an abortion, that's what he's talking about. In that state.
Okay, so Donald Trump was asked by Chris Matthews, should the woman be punished? He said, yes, there has to be some form of punishment. He said the woman. He said, yes, the woman. So again, now we're just moving the goalpost. So the point is Donald Trump said that you should be punished if you have an abortion.
Okay, so here we go. I'm just reading more. Following swift backlash, Trump issued a statement later that day walking back his comments and stated that in the cases where he claims that he was talking about illegal abortion, the doctor in those cases should be so. So listen, whether or not he said it, I agree. It sounds like he said it, but then he walked it back and said he's talking about illegal. Who knows?
Well, he walks everything back because he's a fucking moron who talks without thinking.
But when you guys say that, here's my problem with you guys arguing about Trump, and this is because I sometimes find it hard to listen to him. But here's my point: I like his policies. When Obama was president, I couldn't fucking listen to him either because he droned on forever and never answered a fucking question. But I didn't like his policies. So either it's a guy that says way crazy shit, but I like his policies, compared to a guy that I can't fucking stand listening to either, whom I don't like his policies.
All right, fair,
so
but what policies of Trump's do you like?
Dude, I like everything. And I'll be specific, but most of the policies that I like the terrorists, are old Democrat policies. This is policies that Democrats have stood on the fucking floor of the House and begged for years.
Okay, because the Democrats fought for them, they're right.
That's not what I.
No,
I didn't say
yes,
that.
that's how you justify Trump doing it. Democrats fought for them. And go be specific. What do you mean you like tariffs? Why?
Dude, why did you just do that? We have like the conversation going to like both being civil, and then you do something to put words in my mouth.
Well,
That's
no,
not what I said.
you said you like the tariffs.
I said I liked the tariffs, which, by the way, used to be a Democrat position. I didn't say. All I said was these used because I see myself as a '90s Democrat. You know, these positions that I take, like tariff. If you tariff. The reason America, which when you brought up the dumb people in the country, you can fucking almost draw a line, a circle around those dumb fuckers that I live in. And because we're dumb, it's because, I'll give you an example. Democrats were in charge of West Virginia for 80 fucking years. All they let us do was dig coal. They didn't fucking diversify. They didn't do anything. They dug coal for fucking 80 years. All Democrats were in charge. And then what happens? Obama, a fucking Democrat, turns on us and then fucking, so it's the guys that fucking foster in all this shit and then turn on us and literally said he hopes that they all close down. So this is why West Virginia's in the problems that we're in now, because
wait a minute. Did Democrats introduce new initiatives in different industries where these people can work in instead, but they're so stuck in their ways they insist on fucking mining coal?
My man, I live in this state. The only thing they did was set it. They went on a big fucking campaign about bringing in coal miners to fucking start coding fucking computers, and all that was just talk for 4 years under Obama. Why he fucking destroyed this state.
Obama destroyed.
After 80 years of Democrats doing one thing in this state, then a Democrat comes and fucking just drops the hammer on it.
Can I ask you something? With things like renewable energy and stuff like that, is there a point where coal is just obsolete, where we just say, okay, we got to move on to something different?
That's fine. Nobody's arguing that. That's not.
So in other words, progressives are trying to cause progression in your state. They're trying to make things better so that you guys aren't like spending your lives in a coal mine and dying from black lung.
Saying, dude. I don't know. I don't know if I should even keep talking. You're disingenuous, man. That's not what I said.
I'm not.
I said that they did it for 80 years. They didn't diversify anything. And then Obama decided to drop the hammer. He didn't ease coal industries out. Close maybe 1 or 2 every 3 years. He dropped the fucking hammer and closed them all within a year.
Obama closed the coal mines?
Yes, the
How?
coal mines.
How?
Are you being you can bring up the fucking article where he says he hopes to bankrupt them all. Do you want me to read that article to you?
So he hopes to bankrupt them all. Now, how did he shut them all down?
Regulations, the same thing Democrats do with everything, is over-regulate to the fucking hilt.
Are those
you don't
regulations?
have to pass the law if you own the regulators.
What kind of regulations they put in place?
Oh my God, dude. So I have to bring up specifics now, or I'm a liar in the state I live in. Hold on.
All right. I'm not saying you're a liar, bro. I'm just asking you a question.
You did. Now, because if I'd have said I don't know, you'd say, well, I mean, whether it's true or not. I live in this state. I remember when he said it.
It depends on what you talk about. Let me ask you something. Is it good for people to fucking still in 2026 rely on one type of way to make a living, which kills you? Coal fucking mining? Is that a great way to fucking make a living? Is that what you want your fucking kids to do and your grandkids? Are you for real? I remember when Donald Trump made fun. He said they don't want the mining coal. They want them putting little widgets together. They don't want to put little widgets together. No, they want to mine coal, for fuck's sake. In 2026, mining coal, getting black lung, even though with the Doge cuts, they got rid of the doctors that do the screenings for black lung. That's how much they care about you guys in those states.
Bro, you guys, man, I'm just going to go. You twist everything to some weird...
No, I don't. But before you go, can we just bring up tariffs real quick? What do you like about tariffs? And then I swear to God, I'll let you go. What do you like about tariffs?
If I say anything about tariffs, dude, you'll just twist it. What I said about coal is true. Anybody on the chat, look it up.
All right.
You couldn't even be a Democrat. You couldn't even be a Republican in this state. for 80 years. You couldn't even say the name Republican. And then what happened? You can look up the regulations. I can't cite them off my head. You can look up the thing where he said he hopes to fucking, bankrupt them all. And then you can bring up how, again, we're all just fucking backwards and stupid. And in 2026, all we want to do is mine coal because we're fucking retarded. And all you fucking Republicans or you fucking Democrats are just fucking smarter than everybody.
He hung up on me. God damn, he was mad. Holy shit. Yeah, Obama wanted people to not die of black lung at 45. Exactly. And there was proposals and initiatives to get people doing different types of jobs, much healthier jobs and stuff. But no, these people, listen, and Billy, I'm not even trying to be a dick. You seem like a fairly intelligent guy, but yes, these people are stuck in their ways. They've been mining fucking coal for 8 billion generations and they want to keep mining coal. Are you fucking kidding me? It's 2026. Do you hear what Dave Chappelle said? Dave Chappelle once said, coal? I have never in my life seen a piece of coal. Coal, what are we talking about? It's 2026. There's 8 zillion different ways to make a living. Let's keep mining coal. Oh, God. Oh. Let's mine coal, and then when we get off, let's fight dragons. Great caller. Yeah. Clean coal. Remember that? Clean coal? Yeah. The West got sucked into not using coal by climate change. Got sucked into not using coal? All right. Well, listen, climate change is one of the reasons we don't want to use coal, isn't it? Either sick or smoker, which happens, but a lady. Oh, what do you mean? No way, that was a lady. No, that was a dude. That was a guy. Oh, they're saying it was a lady. I guess. I mean, he does have a high pitched voice. But listen, I don't think the guy is a jerk off or anything. He sounds like, believe me, when it comes to MAGA, he sounds 1,000 times more intelligent than the average MAGA person. That's why I said to him, and he acted like I was backtracking. No, when I say they're the dumbest states in the country, that is literally, guys, the statistics. It's the fact. It's not me just saying it. Does that mean there are not brilliant people in those states? Of course not. Of course not. It doesn't mean that at all. Does that mean there's no smart individuals in those states? No. It's just the overall thing. Overall, just like you guys like to say, look at all the crime in blue cities. Does that mean everybody in a blue city is a criminal? No. Now look at the lack of education in red states. That doesn't mean that everybody in a red state is a fucking moron. Okay, so I wanted to bring up tariffs with him because, again, I mean, I would kill to hear the argument. But this is why he didn't want to have the argument. Dogs are smarter in Kentucky. I would kill to have the argument with anyone how tariffs are good for us. In any way, shape, or form, how are they good for us? Because here's the thing about tariffs. You guys want to know, and listen, he says Democrats, they fought for bro, there's different things here. You can't just say tariffs. Are they reciprocal tariffs, which make perfect sense? Or are there universal tariffs? Are there tariffs that they just use to punish people they don't like Donald Trump said that he might put a 200% tariff on Norway because he didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize? He punishes countries that don't do exactly what he wants with tariffs. That's a hell of a lot different than reciprocal tariffs. It's universal tariffs. It's a different thing. And again, we as Americans, whether you're in a red state, a blue state, a Democrat, or Republican, short, tall, skinny, fat, doesn't matter. We pay the tariffs. So you're arguing that we should be taxed more, and we are being taxed more now, and you like that, yet you're against raising taxes. Tariffs are taxes on us. China doesn't pay a single tariff for the products we import into this country. Neither does any other country. Okay? We pay them. So to have people think, American citizens who are spending more money on the shit they need now, to think that's a good idea, so that, guess what? You know what the tariffs are all about? They're simply to offset the enormous tax cut we keep giving to the richest people in this fucking country. That's it. And the poor people are disproportionately affected by the tariffs. Okay, so it's like, yeah, we raise the taxes on poor people so we can lower the taxes on the richest people. That's the Republican playbook, and that's all the tariffs are. It's another form of taxation. That's it. So when he tells you, I brought in $250 billion in tariff money, no. We paid it in. You didn't bring it in. It didn't come from China. It didn't come from Venezuela. It didn't come from any of those places. It came from us. So it's the same as if Trump went on, if he raised our taxes, universal tax increase 10%, everybody. And then he goes on the news and brags about, look at all the money I've brought in through the extra tax I put on you people. You would be happy about that? So it's literally the same thing as being happy about paying tariffs. Now, again, if you think tariffs are good for American businesses, if that's one of the things that you like about them or whatever, you're simply wrong, because they're not. Okay. If you think it's going to increase manufacturing or bring it back to the US, you are wrong. Okay. I worked for a factory that built Harleys. Let me tell you something about Harley Davidson. Just like every single American company, pretty much, I would assume, probably not every single, the overwhelming majority, even though their product is American made, it's built using products from other countries. Okay. So we built Harleys, and there's parts that came from China, Japan, Mexico. Okay. So Harleys, say a Harley costs $20,000 up until the tariffs were implemented. Now the tariffs are in place, and the fucking factory has to pay more for certain individual parts. Do you think they're going to eat that cost? Or do you think they're going to raise the price of the motorcycle? They're going to raise the price of the motorcycle. So now it's not good for the business, because the more expensive the bikes are, the less people are going to be able to afford them. And then the people who can afford them have to pay more than they would have had to if there was no tariffs. It doesn't matter if it's a certain type of produce. That could be just tariff because it's coming in from another country. But even an ingredient in something, take a bottle of lotion. If there's an ingredient in a bottle of lotion that they get from China, the price of that bottle of lotion goes up, even though it's an American-made product. It's made here in the U.S. Zippers, jeans. Say, I heard somebody use this example one time, blue jeans. Let's just say the blue jeans, the zippers on the blue jeans. The blue jeans are made right here in the U.S., but the zippers they put on them come from China. Now there's a crazy tariff on those zippers. Now their cost goes up. So the price of your jeans goes up. So you're paying the tariffs, no matter what it is. Yeah, you're passing it on to consumers. No company is going to say, I'm just going to eat this extra cost and decrease my own profits, which is what I need to live and survive and keep my business running. It's like I always say, like t-shirts. Say somebody orders, say there's a company that orders blank t-shirts, just plain white t-shirts. Okay. And they've been paying $4 a piece for their fucking t-shirts. But now there's a tariff. Now hold on, let me go back. Let's say they're paying $4 a piece for their t-shirts and they're selling them for $6. Okay. Well, now there's a tariff. Now they're paying $6 for their t-shirts. So they're not going to not make a profit. They're now going to charge $8. So the shirt you were paying $6 for, you're now paying $8 for. Do you understand? So we pay, American businesses and consumers pay the tariffs that are placed on these other countries. That's why they're really only a good idea when they're reciprocal, not when they're universal. And Donald Trump has not even made a secret about the fact that he's using tariffs as a negotiating tool, which is not a good idea because, again, it costs us money now. So this fucktard can negotiate because he doesn't know any other way to do it. Not good. Guys, give me 1 second. All right, guys. Did the workers' wages decrease? What do you mean? You mean would they? Or do you, where I was, I haven't been in that factory since COVID. But what are you saying? What wages decrease? I mean, yeah, there's a good chance wages could decrease. Ever since the tariffs were put in place, there's been layoffs all over the country because of companies that can't afford to operate the way they did before. They got to lay people off. And I guarantee there's been wage decreases. Of course, the operating costs go up. If they decide to save that money, that extra money they have to pay to make their products, if they decide to save it through a wage decrease rather than passing it on to the customer, they will. And we've had 1.2 million layoffs under Trump so far. Now, some of those are due to AI, but many of them are due to tariffs. There's a list of companies online that have, what was I saying? Oh, that have laid a lot of fucking people off because of tariffs. It has to happen. If he did want them to build factories, you don't do tariffs on building materials. Exactly. Yeah. That's why he goes back and forth. He changes his stock, sells high, buys low, does it all over. Nothing to do with bringing back jobs. Oh, no. Yeah, he's been using this as a form of insider trading, without a doubt. I mean, the first round of tariffs he put on and took right off the next day. And Scott Bessent, another genius, came on fucking CNN and said, we knew he was going to do that. He told us he was going to do it. That's called insider trading. And Marjorie Taylor Greene made $25 million off of that information. So when you guys bring up Nancy Pelosi, that's fine. But don't forget to bring up those people, like Donald Trump's entire family, every single one of his children, their net worths have doubled since Donald Trump took office for his second term. And Barron and his friends, they made a fuck ton. Barron's worth $150 million now because of the inside knowledge they had about what he was doing with these tariffs and shit. So it's also about punishment when he wants things too from other countries, like with Greenland and tariff threats. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's, listen, you guys got to always remember something. Because I'm not saying that Democrats never used tariffs. Of course not. I'm not saying that Biden didn't keep some of Trump's tariffs. He did. Of course, again, there's a difference between universal and reciprocal. Certain countries, that's one thing. But you got to understand something about Donald Trump. And I swear to you guys, believe me, I've been studying this guy his entire life, long before he ever ran for president. Trump doesn't know anything. I swear to you. Guys, his own advisors have said that when they're trying to, in his first term, they would sit him down and try to teach him the Constitution, and he would fall asleep. He doesn't know the first thing about the Constitution. He doesn't know anything. He probably couldn't pick out North America on a world map. He's a fucking dunce. All he knows is that tariffing countries can hurt them because it can obviously cause an increase in exports for them, or a decrease, in exports for that country. So he's a big fucking baby who wants what he wants, and he wants to get it by any means. So he decided to use tariffs as a way to do that. But in the meantime, we're all getting taxed to death. Groceries are up. Utilities are way up. Rents are up. Mortgages are up. And a lot of this stuff, not all of it, of course, but a lot of this stuff, like even electricity, for fuck's sake, because we get a lot of electricity from Canada, the prices have gone up because of tariffs. Groceries are higher than they were under Biden. All the things he said wouldn't happen, the things he told you he would dial lower prices, prices went up. They did not go down. The only prices that went down are gas and eggs. And let me tell you a secret about gas and eggs. The president has absolutely zero to do with the price of gas and eggs. Okay. There are times when the president has something to do with it, but the prices are made up by OPEC. Okay. Even when gas went up under Biden, they love to talk about the high gas prices. They forget to talk about the fact that Trump made a deal with Russia and Saudi Arabia. They don't even know it, I don't think, during COVID to stop producing oil. So that by the time Biden was back in or was in office and people were driving again, there was no fucking oil. Okay. I don't mean none, but you know what I'm saying. So there are things presidents can do, different things, pipelines and shit that can have an effect, stuff like that. But OPEC makes the price of gas. Donald Trump, you couldn't tell me a single thing Donald Trump has done to lower the price of gas. You can't tell me one because he hasn't done a thing to lower the price of gas. And eggs, guys, I can have Grok, Elon Musk's that stupid bitch answer you right now. She'll tell you that as far as eggs, the prices on eggs went up not because of anything Biden did. None of you could tell me what Biden did to make egg prices grow up because he didn't do anything. It just was bird flu. They were slaughtering millions of chickens and therefore less egg prices go up. And that's it. Those are the only prices that are lower, gas and eggs. So, I don't know what to say, but I would have loved to have had the tariff conversation with that guy. The problem with that guy is he's like a lot of people I debate on here. That guy, Billy, if he doesn't know how to argue it, or if you're beating him in the argument, he changes the subject completely. It's just like the gerrymandering thing. We're talking about mid-district redistricting or mid-decade redistricting, and you're going to talk about how much Democrats have gerrymandered. Well, the argument is not about gerrymandering. It's about mid-decade gerrymandering. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Gold is at an all-time high. Gold shoots up when the economy is in trouble. Bro, I tell you what, there's not a day that goes by that I don't wish I wouldn't have in 2023 just bought up as much gold as possible, because that shit is $5,000 an ounce now. Even silver, I was going to buy silver bullion, even that $120 fucking an ounce. It's insane. $200 heating bills in California used to be $100. Yeah, I mean, electricity, utility bills in this country are up on average about 10%. I mean, that could be a lot. We just paid a fucking $600 gas bill. I almost passed out when I saw it. Yeah, or no doubt. All right, guys, listen, I did not mean to be on here this long. I swear to God, I have shit to do. But when I'm in a debate, man, I don't bail. But I got to get going. Oh, yeah. Of course, Eric Klein. Yeah. All right, guys. I love you. I'll see you later for another one of these. I don't know, either around 6-ish or around 10:30-ish. We'll see. Have a good day, guys. Peace. Hit the like and subscribe, whoever's left, please. Thank you. Bye.